Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the fish room. My name is Travis. Today I'm going to show you my RTN troubleshooting process. This is rapid tissue necrosis. Now I came down here this morning and noticed that one of my acros completely turned white overnight, and I'm going to go through the process of basically elimination to try to determine what might have caused this. And yeah, so with that being said, the first thing I like to do is if I notice that one coral isn't doing well, I just look over the rest of the tank, see if there's anything going on, any other spots of RTN, any other stressed out coral, polyp extension, all that kind of stuff. And looking through here, there really isn't anything else that's pissed off. Of course, there are corals growing into each other and killing each other off, but there's no noticeable white spots other than up here. There's just a little bit here on the tort coral, but that's been kind of on and off since it's being killed by another acro currently. So I don't think that has anything to do with this guy down here. So looking around, again, there is just one other spot on this tort as well. Same situation as the other, just kind of getting taken out by another coral. There is a little bit of paleness on this particular acro here. It's more of a blue, but again, I don't really, it is getting stressed out by a couple other acros down here. So again, it might just be that. Outside of that, there really isn't anything that I'm seeing. A little bit of death here, but again, it's just kind of growth and stress from another coral. And I think that's what's going on with this acro in general. Now you can see that it is being kind of chewed up by the bird's nest there, as well as a plating monty. Sorry, it's I'm trying to get the colors right on the camera here. It's a little off still, so I do apologize. But yeah, it just kind of looks like it's getting chewed up. I think that's what's going on. But just in case, the next thing I'm going to do after observing the system, and that's including the frag tanks as well. There really isn't anything going on over here that I could see other than, again, another coral getting chewed up by one that's a little too close. But outside of that, everything looks pretty good overall. So once I determine that there really isn't anything else going on in the tank with other corals other than just kind of stress between each other, it's time to go ahead and test the tank. Okay, so when it comes to testing the tank manually, I am going to use two of these mid-grade refractometers, both recalibrated with distilled water prior to testing, and this seems to be the most accurate method of testing salinity in the reef tank. I don't like the salinity probes. The Hanna salinity tester is just not working for me, and the Milwaukee can be hit or miss. So this again seems to be the best and most consistent option when it comes to testing salinity, at least for me. Now outside of that, I am going to be testing phosphates and nitrates with the Hanna checker, just to verify, kind of make sure I'm in a good range. I know that I was a little low on phosphates last week, but I have been feeding a little bit more nori in hopes of kind of bringing that up without dosing it. Now, outside of manually testing, I do like to check my Trident to just look for any kind of fluctuations that might indicate or cause STN or RTN. In this case, it is RTN. Now, more closely, I like to look at the alkalinity fluctuation, at least over the last 24 hours. And you can see that it started off one day ago at 8.16, and we kind of went up to 8.53. Nothing too crazy, definitely not a fluctuation that would cause anything to kill coral, at least not in my experience. And coming down here, the only thing that's kind of a little low is my magnesium, but that's been gradually coming down over the last week or so, indicating that I need to either dose more or add some more chips to my calcium reactor. And you can see that the calcium reactor is a little low. I got to top that off. And these are the mag chips down here that need to be replenished, and of course adding a little bit more to it would help as well. So yep, so I'm going to go ahead and test the tank, and I'll let you guys know what we got for salinity as well as the nitrates and phosphates. We'll be right back. Okay, so I just finished testing the tank. Currently, the salinity on both of these refractometers is 1.026, so that's good to go. The phosphates, which just turned off, was 0.08, which is in an acceptable range of 0.07 to 0.15. Now, the phosphates is 1.8, which is definitely lower than I prefer to have it, usually between 5 to 10. Now, I haven't been feeding my fish food, mainly because I ran out last week. It's on my to-do list to make some more, so I'll go ahead and knock that out today. Outside of that, phosphates are still in a good range, technically a little lower. Obviously the nitrates are definitely lower than I prefer, but they're not zero, which is always a good thing. And polyp extension seems to be pretty good. Usually when nitrates bottom out, polyp extension goes relatively south in the reef tank, at least from what I've noticed. Now, outside of just testing the tank, even though the nitrates are a little off, they're not zero, so I don't think that's going to be an indication or a reason why we'll have some RTN like that. Now, because of the test results came back and everything seems relatively, I would say, normal, it's time to move on to kind of other things that might be causing the STN, the RTN in the tank. Now, I can see that the filter socks need to be replaced, but I just put them in yesterday and cleaned the glass and picked up some detritus from the bottom of the tank, so those have been only overflowing the last 12 hours or so. What I like to do is go ahead and get into the sump. I know it's gonna be hard to see. There is detritus at the bottom of the sump, but what I like to do is look for kind of any kind of screws, metal, anything that might have fell in the sump overnight, over the last few days, something that might have fell off a piece of equipment or landed in the tank that could be potentially rusting or causing issues in the sump. I like to look at kind of any kind of screws, again, hinges, anything again that might be rusting or just kind of flaking off and falling into the tank. Now, my Chaeto, I just replaced it. I am working on a little test of making a ball, a rolling ball of Chaeto. So I just replaced it with this small ball. It's starting to grow out. I'm going to increase the flow and try to see what I can do and check that out over the next few months. Now, with all of that being said, let me go ahead and put the filter on so we can look at the tank, and then I'll give you kind of my overall thoughts when it comes to this particular coral RTNing. Okay, so that's a little better. Now, overall, my thought process is I think that it's just stress from other corals. Given that part of the acro is still alive, that little chunk in between, but I'm assuming that's probably going to go eventually. Now, I will remove this coral today or tomorrow during my water change, but looking through the tank, looking at the tests that I can do outside an ICP test, I don't think it's anything other than just coral stress. Now again, the nitrates are a little low, but they're not to the point where I think it's going to impact the coral negatively as well. If you look at the rest of the tank, everything else is doing pretty good. Polyp extension is good. Corals are showing growth even with the lower nitrate levels, which I will address today. I will get that fish food made and get that stuff going in the tank per usual, or I might start dosing if I can't get around to making the fish food today. I will throw a little bit of the Hex NO3 on the auto doser just to kind of keep the tank going, because this tank has been known to kind of uptake nitrates relatively quickly, and I've had to put it on the auto doser in the past. So we'll see how the rest of the day plays out, order-wise and all that kind of stuff. But overall thought process is I think it's just stress from other corals. Now, if I was to see other corals in the tank just kind of stressing out or starting to die or be really closed up or not happy, I would consider sending it on an ICP test, but I don't think that's necessary at this point, and I'm just going to kind of monitor the tank and see how it does. Now, with that, hopefully this video helps you guys. Some other things you might want to consider is the environment, the tank, the room, all that kind of stuff. Down here, I don't have air fresheners, or I mean, the boys play down here, but they're not bringing down toys or throwing anything into the sump. They're kind of beyond that age. So just look at the external environment. What might be getting into the tank? These are all things that you can check out and just kind of put into the equation of trying to figure out what's going on with the reef tank. So with that being said, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, let me know, put it in the comment section. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And if you want to support what I do, check out the website, fishofhex.com, and I appreciate you. So until next time, I'll see you guys later. Peace.